Okay. Well, you know, there are days where I feel like crying. And then there are days where I feel like laughing. And then there are days where you're seeing somebody cry, you want to laugh too. Like Justin Trudeau. Now, why is Justin Trudeau crying? Why is he sad? Why he's sad? Well, because Justin Trudeau has resigned as Canada's Liberal Party leader, the Prime Minister, and they have selected Mark Carney as his replacement. So it's over now. It's over now for Justin.
In first place, the next Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, with 131,674 votes, resulting in 29,457 allocated points, representing 85.9% of the vote.
Hold on, there's music being played here. Hold on. Let's move forward past that.
And the leader, of course, of the Liberal Party, and he won by a pretty astonishing 85% of the vote.
Hold on. Enough of the music being played.
Resoundingly.
That was an astonishing difference between him and Chrystia Freeland, the number two, who's long been Deputy Prime Minister and the Finance Minister, who resigned at the end of last year. She only got 8% of the vote, and Mark Carney coming in with nearly 86%. That is absolutely astonishing. He promised a mandate for change within the Liberal Party, and I think that's clearly what people wanted. They wanted someone who was an economic strong hand, which Mark Carney, having been both Governor of the Bank of England through Brexit, Governor of the Bank of Canada too, is something that, you know, economics is his bread and butter. And I think also this was clear that they just wanted to move away from the politics of the last decade of Justin Trudeau, with whom Chrystia Freeland was so closely implicated. You know, Mark Carney is a very, very solid figure in terms of the economy, and therefore dealing with Donald Trump. But he doesn't have political experience in the way that Chrystia Freeland did. He's never been a politician, but in his own words, he has been a leader. You don't lead institutions like that unless you have considerable experience leading organizations. And he has a very, very difficult job on his hands.
Yes, one of them is dealing with the tariffs. Now, before we do, yes, this is AI. This is artificial intelligence. And with Justin Trudeau's government falling apart, I know. I don't want to be playing it too much because it's going to get sad. You know, Justin Trudeau did have one moment that he wanted to share with the people, such as, hey, Mr. Prime Minister, would you mind taking some photos with us, like a short memory? Now, I can't play this because of copyright. I can't play the video with sound on because of copyright music. But before we get to his replacement, he wants to share some moments that'll warm the heart. Mr. Prime Minister, would you mind taking some photos for us? Sure, that's a great idea. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, look at that. All right. All the photos, everything right there. Everything looks like smiles and sunshines. But it's not smile and sunshines because it's more of this, because Trudeau's legacy is going to be remembered as the fact that Canadians were not a fan of him in his final years. Case in point right here. Hold on. Wait, one other thing here too. One person wrote, Shake and Bake. It says, in theory, Mark was selected, and now there's going to be a general election. In theory, we'll see if that actually happens. I suspect the World Economic Forum influence in Canada might override that. They might indeed. But hold on, did you think it was over? Oh no, this was from last year when it came down to confronting, because it was the left and right in Canada protesting Justin Trudeau.
Fire now! Shame on you! You have blood on your hands! Call for a ceasefire! Call for ceasefire! Call for ceasefire! You have blood on your hands! You have blood on your hands! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! You fund genocide! Justin Trudeau, you fund genocide! You fund genocide, Justin Trudeau! Look at us! Look at us! Look at us, Justin Trudeau! Answer for your crimes! You are killing kids! Ceasefire now! 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 Ceasefire!
I do want to pull this up here. Shout out to Mastermind Hour, a professional ignorer. Natalie Williams says, "Run, Justin, run." But it's not over yet because there's so much more of Trudeau's legacy.
You're a traitor, Trudeau!
You're the fucking communist! You're not in Canada!
She's calling him a communist bastard. He's not a communist. He's a corporatist. Corporatist through and through.
You can see they've hung up tablecloths so nobody can look inside. Sorry for my shakiness. I'm freezing. Oh, here we go. Secret security. Trudeau, you fucking monster. You're an asshole. You're destroying this country. You are destroying this country. You are dividing this country. Trudeau. Trudeau. Trudeau, look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me, Trudeau. You're a monster. You have blood on your hands. Blood on your hands. You monster. Don't touch me. I'm not doing anything wrong. Trudeau, you're a monster. Look at this monster. Look at him laughing. You have blood on your hands. You have blood on your hands. You will be held accountable. You will be held accountable. You will be. You will be held accountable, you monster. You monster.
So, with all of that, how do you think Trudeau feels about that? This is how he probably feels. Okay. That hits a little close to home. But let's talk about his replacement, because he does have a replacement. Now, from the first video where his replacement, Mark Carney, was named as the new incoming prime minister, it's been told, he's never been in a position like this before. But when you make a bold statement like this, Canada will win trade war with the U.S. Look, I don't want there to be a trade war period between the United States and Canada. But already, this guy doesn't sound like he's got that dog in him. Canada's incoming Prime Minister, Mark Carney, has vowed to fight and win the trade war with the United States, warning that the retaliatory tariffs will remain in place until Americans show us respect. No. Here's the thing. I love Canadian people. I think the Canadian people love the American people. We don't like our politicians, and our politicians doing this back and forth fight is making all of our lives miserable. Tensions escalated in February when the U.S. President Donald Trump announced a 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, along with 10% duties on Chinese imports. Initially delayed for a month, the measures took effect last Tuesday, with exemptions granted to automakers and goods covered by the United States-Mexico-Canadian Agreement, USMCA, until April. Ottawa responded by imposing tariffs on $30 billion worth of American products, with an additional $125 billion in duties set for next month. Carney has been elected as the leader of Canada's Liberal Party with 85.9% of the vote, positioning him to become the country's next prime minister. In his inaugural speech on Sunday, he criticized Trump for imposing unjustified tariffs that he said were attacking Canadian families and accused him of attempting to undermine the Canadian way of life. There's someone who's trying to weaken our economy, Donald Trump. Donald Trump has put unjustified tariffs on what we build and what we will sell, on how we earn a living. So here's his own words talking about Trump. Here's the new guy in charge. To my Canadian audience, how do you feel about him?
President Trump thinks Canada will cave in. We will never, ever bow down to a bully. Canadians will always stick together. And we won't stand by as tariffs hurt our workers and their families. Canadians need to remain united. Now, let me be clear. This situation, unfortunately, could not be more serious. And at times like these, we need serious leadership and a serious plan. I'm ready to stand up for Canada. Who's with me?
I don't think he's got that dog in him. That doesn't inspire confidence. That doesn't inspire strength. You know what that tells me? He might be a little scared. He might be a little frightened. He might be a little unsure of himself. And he's currently fighting a little bit more than he could chew off. He doesn't have that fight. And now he's inheriting Justin Trudeau's mess. Nobody wants to be Justin Trudeau right now. Nobody wants to take that spot, because what happened to that Liberal government of his? Well, many people in his administration either had some scandals, or either that didn't like how Trudeau was running things, or not following through with his policies or promises. Canada's in a bit of trouble. Now, not to say that, there won't be some kind of deal. I mean, I hope there's a deal in place in which this tariff war, this trade war between the United States and Canada is put to an end, because this fight is only going to be hurting regular people, average Joes, average people just trying to live their lives as best as they could. This is a clash of egos. And all this really could have been avoided if maybe Trudeau kept his own ego in check, especially when it came down to dealing with Trump, before he got too emotional, before he got too triggered, before he got too pissed off, before he let his better judgment be cast aside by emotion. Trudeau, his legacy. How do we view it? On the one hand, he was a long-serving prime minister, but on the other hand, he's somebody who started off with a bang and is now ending with booze. The Canadian people have made it very clear across the political spectrum how they view him. And those protest videos that I shared with all of you were how people were, again, across the political spectrum, left and right, viewed Justin Trudeau when it came down to the vaccine, or what happened to the truckers, or either that was ceasefire in Gaza. Trudeau was losing everyone and everything. Not loved, not feared, but hated. And Marky Mark, the new Canadian Prime Minister, you got a bag of shite. I'd start really reassessing your entire situation before you start making bold statements to Trump. It's not looking good for you. But one other thing. Any other final words, Trudeau? Any at all? Any at all? Give us your thoughts. Okay. I'm being mean. I'm sorry.